This program is brought to you by the Media Liberty Alliance Foundation in cooperation with OBBM Network TV, bringing citizen-led, creative local media to the forefront of local communities to foster a greater understanding of constitutional liberty and appreciation of what makes us truly free, starting with you and me.
The Zach Ratliff Show is brought to you by Mortgage Financial in Texarkana, Texas, Elmwood Custom Goods, and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way you're updated each time fresh content comes out. And thank you for being part of the Zach Ratliff Show. Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach.
This is Dale.
And it's that time of the week again.
It is, man. It's Wednesday.
Dale, last week, man, I had some audio mishaps, but we back in it today.
Okay, all right.
You know, it's a learning process, but man, we're cleaning it up around here a lot.
Yeah, I mean, your studio is looking nice, man. It's looking pro.
You know, I appreciate that. A lot of support from anonymous sponsors and sponsors that are listed at the front of the show, and glad to have that. Let's kind of jump right in on what's happening today with this domestic terrorist up in where was it? Minnesota? Yeah.
Dude, I'm coming in hot.
Okay.
For y'all out there, yeah, you probably by the time you hear this podcast will already know it, but there's been a ICE shooting of a woman who tried to ram ICE agents up in Minneapolis. And they were conducting operations, and you're getting first news events out of this, what's going on and such. You know, the federal government is saying, this was a lady who tried to ram ICE agents. Another agent shot her,
which is what you do when somebody's trying to kill you.
Yeah, well, a car is a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
Cars kill more people than guns do in this country, and and they have a protocol. Federal government, every agent is trained that if you're being attacked by a car, you shoot the driver.
Right.
Because a 9mm ain't going to stop a car.
No.
So you disable the driver. That's protocol. Now, what has got me so pissed off is listening to CNN and MSNBC and others out there saying, oh, no, she was merely blocking ICE. And when an agent was walking up to her, she tried to just drive away, and they shot her down. I'm like, are you kidding me? In America, our federal agents, they don't just shoot and execute people trying to drive away.
And if they do, they should pay the penalty.
Absolutely.
But this is not what happened from all evidence in this case. From all evidence.
Now, you've got the Minneapolis mayor out there saying that it was not self-defense.
Right.
You got the chief of police out there saying the same thing, saying they've looked at the video and that's not what they see. Now, you know what? This is George Floyd all over again. In fact, they've already made the comparisons.
So, and this is why we just jumped in on the show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I had someone say to me the other day, the reason why. Do I sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It just sounds weird in my can.
Yeah,
in my cans.
Your dulcet tones are coming out.
Yeah. I had somebody say to me the other day, the reason why Democrats are always saying Republicans are going to kill people, conservatives are going to kill people, and they're always worried about, if they have the guns, they're going to kill people. Because if Democrats have all that, they will kill people.
Absolutely.
So they expect us to act like them, which is why we don't understand it, because our first thought is not to kill people.
Democrats always project what they would do on us.
Yeah.
And no matter what. I mean, and you look at Minnesota, my God, what a failed state. I mean, you've got...
Then he tries to step down like a hero.
You got $9 billion at least in fraud, reported fraud out there.
That's on the low side.
Yeah, you've got prosecutions out there going right and left. I mean, you got an immigrant community out there that has figured out how to rig the game and just rape our treasury.
Yeah.
And it's just like insane. And then they're all protecting all these immigrants. Listen, Minnesota, that's the area where communism was born in America. They're still out there. They're still doing it. They hate America. These people, these protesters out there, chasing our ICE agents down and threatening them and protesting them and trying to ram them with cars and such, and shooting at them. Actually, that's happened here in Texas.
Yep.
That this is an attack on us. Not just ICE, not just on Trump, but on all of us. We're law-abiding people. I've been in the Tea Party movement since it was born.
Mm-hmm.
We never once.
Bunch of wackos and racist.
We never once ever used violence.
What about January 6th, Dale?
Man, go to the White House page.
Yeah.
They just opened up a January 6th, 5-year anniversary.
Yeah.
There's, the only people got killed were January 6ers, that the government killed. It wasn't the other way around.
Not to derail us from the Minnesota stuff, but I know people that were part of carrying that flag that you saw being carried, that giant flag that came down the mall.
Right.
And then they got up the steps of the Capitol, and then they saw oh wait, something ain't right.
Right.
They're moving these barriers.
Yes.
They're inviting these people in, and so they turn around and fought against going away. Like, hey, we got to get away. And made it out, and then we were, in contact with them when they were trying to get back to where they're from and all that. But, it was very much a setup.
Well, I mean, I guess the Democrats can claim consistency when they don't want the National Guard in there because they refused the National Guard on January 6th down in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right.
They wanted what happened. In fact, they keep saying ICE is causing chaos across America. They're causing the chaos. If ICE was just allowed to go out there and do their business without the hyperbolic accusations going after them all the time, the media and the left politicians ginning up the populace to their mindless sheeple followers that come and do their stuff, people would be arrested, bad guys, and they would be deported out of this country, and nobody would care anything about it. Nobody did during Obama.
Yeah.
Nobody really cared during Biden.
That's exactly
But
right.
when Trump's in office, oh my God,
it's a
that's the
problem.
worst damn thing ever.
I was in Minneapolis 2006-ish, and that was right after that bridge collapsed. Do you remember that?
Right, I remember.
The bridge that collapsed.
Yeah.
And so I'm on a bus, and we're up there for a training for a company that I worked for, and there's a bus full of us, charter bus full.
Right.
My sense of humor, although this
Black
was
sense of humor.
but this was 20 years ago before I was so filtered.
Right. Oh my God. I can imagine.
Yeah. And so I walk on, and my voice. I can't whisper. And I said, "Driver?" And he said, "Whatever." He said, "Yeah." So you don't plan on taking any bridges, do you? And the jaws just dropped, and he giggled. He goes, "I'm gonna do my best not to, sir." I said, "I appreciate that." And so that's my Minnesota experience, because it was right after. That might have been within a year of that.
Right.
I don't remember exactly when it was, but I thought,
Well, I can appreciate that sense of humor. but I've never been blessed to go to Minneapolis, and I don't think I ever will.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't now, but but that's the thing. It's there. It's in California. It's in Austin. It's in Texas. I mean, it's in Arkansas. Let's don't play like it's isolated up there. The fraud, and this is why they came after Elon.
Right.
Last year. This is why they had to come after Doge. This is why they came after Trump the first time. This is what Trump discovered in his first term that he didn't really. Because remember, when he got in there in 2016, he goes, "It was worse than I ever imagined."
When he got in here in 2016, the people he was fighting first was the Republican establishment.
He's
2 years.
He's still fighting them.
Well, I know, but it took him 2 years to basically show them this is the way you have to do it.
Yeah.
And they started listening. And then after the third year, COVID hit,
Well, you're missing a key point in there. Midterm election.
Right.
All the rhinos that hated Trump retired so he would lose the House.
Right.
Which is happening again.
Yes, they are. But God, I hope this country
I
gets
do.
his senses back. I mean, look at these people are crazy. Jasmine Crockett,
I mean, hey, look, I understand. Some of it's for entertainment, some of it's for publicity. Because even I sent a message, I think that you were on earlier in the day about something. I'm like, no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, right. That's what
And but which is true to a degree.
Yeah, you didn't exactly say that. You said no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, that's right.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. No publicity is bad publicity, right? I mean, they're seeing your name and just. But anyway, all right. So this lady tries to kill some of our federal officers. They drop her.
Yeah.
What do you expect them to do?
That's the legal protocol. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, a car is a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I mean, they're trying to take the illegals off the semi trucks out here because you don't want 80,000 pounds of rolling steel coming down on you with somebody who can't read a stop sign.
You know what's amazing about this? Have you seen all these people with these CDLs that are getting arrested because they can't speak English, can't read? Well, I had a little inside knowledge on this because one of my buddies, his family owns a place where they work on semis, 20 bays, right? They have a big place where they bring them in and they do that. But he's been talking about for years, he's like, man, these foreign guys, these Indian guys, they cut a hole in the truck. He's like, they run 3 guys to a truck.
Yeah.
One's riding shoddy, one's in the driver, and one's sleeping. He goes, they only stop for gas.
Right.
He's like, if they have to go to the bathroom, they go through that hole that's in the truck.
Yeah.
And so he would talk about having to work on it, and he's like, it's just filthy. And then he's like, it's just a different culture. It's not. They're not civilized. And I'm not saying this isn't everyone, but this is obviously
not
enough.
to American standards, not to American culture.
That
is not a simulation.
Yeah. But he's like, and if it would have happened once, I don't think he would. He might have been like, oh, "That's crazy." He's like, "No, this is a common thing from these guys when we're working on these trucks that we see."
Yeah.
That's a wild thought. I would never think of that. Or even, there are certain parts of the country where immigrant, and even in Europe too, where immigrant populations are higher. They have to draw pictures of how to use a toilet.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean,
I've seen that. Well, I mean, sometimes I've gone into foreign bathrooms and I'm like, what the hell? That's a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you remember the movie Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone?
Oh yeah.
I was in Europe and went into a bathroom, and the first time this happened, I was in like 9th grade, 8th grade, and there was like a shoulder high wall, and I'm standing there doing my business, and then I look, and there's this lady sitting there beside me, and I'm like, oh, this is the way they do it over here in Europe, baby. I didn't even know. No. But anyway, the Demolition Man is. You walk in there like, what are these 3 shells for?
Yeah.
Like it's completely different.
Exactly. You know what? I still haven't figured out that
the 3 shells.
Use it yet.
No, I neither.
You know what? But I ain't gonna waste any more time on it.
Oh, that's exactly right. All right. Let's go ahead.
But these guys. Why is it that the Democratic Party, that the leftists, are always defending the perpetrators, the bad guys?
Yeah.
And
every time.
Yes, they're against law and order. They're against the rule of law. And it's amazing to me because Trump's in charge. They must turn against everything American.
Well, they weren't for us to begin with.
They wanted to change us into them.
What did Obama say? Radical change.
Right. Yeah.
Radical change. Well, and Steve was in here the other day, and we went through, and I said, how many people has communism killed in the 20th century? And it was over 160 million.
Oh yeah.
But I even saw this guy was out on the street, maybe at around some college, and he's like, and it's a common refrain.
Absolutely.
Oh, but we're going to do it right this time. No, you're not. The human we had perfection to begin with. Mm-hmm. We had a garden.
Yes.
And there was a man and a woman, and logically their family would have eventually been there too, and everything was given to them. We could call it paradise. Like a garden.
Like a garden.
Yeah. And maybe it had a name like Eden.
Yeah.
Just
had some fruit trees in it.
Yeah, just spitballing,
Yeah.
And you could have walked around with God himself. Yes. And we couldn't get past human nature.
Right.
So if you, with God himself in the garden with you, if you can't get past human nature there, you think somebody with all the power and all the money that comes with tyranny, you think they're going to make it good for everybody?
But see, that's the thing about free will. God wanted us to love him because we wanted to.
That's right.
Not because he made us. And with that free will.
And he still wants that for you.
That's right. And with that free will comes the curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the curse of listening to Satan and doing bad things. You know, all these politicians out there, I mean, I listened to the damn mayor of Minneapolis talk about how we're going to respond to this with love and peace and all that.
Right, yeah.
But
We're going to pat everybody on the hiney and tell
at
them
the
it's going to
very
be okay.
same time, he didn't mention, this lady wanting to run over ice ages. He didn't mention that they've been saying that ICE is out there causing chaos. They're ripping families apart. They're killing people.
Got to get these ice ages. You know, we had the insurance guy killed in the street not too long ago.
Yes.
We had Trump shot at and then tried to kill again. We had Charlie Kirk murdered. These violent conservatives. No, you've got all these other shows like, we've got to do what we can. We got to get in their face. You got to go to their yard. You got to rise up.
Yeah, it's confront them in a restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
And all that breeds hate, not love.
Yeah.
That's the opposite. Debate breeds respect and comedy between people.
Yeah.
And we
comedy in the classical sense.
Yeah. Comedy, I guess, is a better way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
I speak with an accent sometimes. But it's one of those things where we should be able to discuss our differences, and our differences should just be ways to better achieve what we all want.
Right.
But we don't. Now,
are we all always going to get along and sing Kumbaya by the fire?
Yeah.
No.
It's like, we on the right, we Republicans, we conservatives, we think that the Democrats and the leftists, they're just people with really, really, really bad, evil ideas. On the other side, they look at us conservatives, us Republicans, as really evil people.
That's the difference.
And that's the difference.
That's the difference.
And they justify everything they can do against us, and they feel good about it.
Yeah. Let's stay up there. The Watcher on the Web, which if you watch the episode with Doc Pete the other day,
right?
We talked a lot about the Watcher on the Wall, but the Watcher on the Web on X.com. Everybody understands what's going on with walls, right? 2020, Democrats are behind by a huge margin. I'm just reading this, in fundraising. Kamala needs to pick a VP, and it just so happens that Tim has access to one of the nation's largest money laundering for political profit schemes. And then, magically, this person says, gee, would you look at that? Suddenly, they're not having so much of a fundraising problem anymore. Only they lost, and now the fraud that facilitated the money laundering is out in the open. And then, of course, he goes on, hey, this guy's going down. But that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to Minnesota. I mean, she had other options. Josh Shapiro.
They had a chance with Josh Shapiro.
The gay governor out there in Colorado,
what's his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
The gay guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, she had other choices. But, she settled on the money guy.
Yeah.
And because, look at the dude. He is not the redefinition of manhood,
Man, that was just in my mind. I was just wondering if I was going to say it or not.
Oh, I'll say it.
Well, and here's what's funny. The Democrats are always against the old white rich guys, except for they are the old white rich guys.
Exactly.
Look at them. I don't have the facts readily at hand to go into how Kamala got her ways, but it was horizontally.
Right. But, the graft and corruption continued in her own campaign.
Yeah.
How do you spend over $1 billion
just
and lose so badly?
Frivolous.
She was throwing money out to her cronies right and left. She didn't care about it. It was just another, it's like, yeah, go sign off on it. She had people divvying money out for her. She didn't even know where it was going.
Yeah.
That's how they operate.
Because money solves everything, right?
Did it solve education? We throw more money at education.
We just hadn't given enough money to it.
Exactly. You know, just like socialism.
Once again, the wrong people did it.
Right. You know, they just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
You know, if we were still in, if we continue to be in charge, we'll fix it.
Yeah, every time.
But you got to give us another, $50 billion or whatever to make it right. I mean, that's where we got to in the last legislative session.
Yeah.
You know, when they passed the quote unquote school choice bill,
which was nothing.
that was BS from the base. I remember when that bill dropped.
Here, I got you next time. You say BS.
Oh, okay. Yes. When that bill dropped, and I went into my boss's Brent Money's office and said, "We're screwed."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Have you seen this bill?" I go, "It is not school choice. It's not parental choice.
Right.
This is a set of government options. Not only is it that, they don't solve any of the issues we have in education. In fact, they threw another whole different pot of money at it."
Yeah.
I go, "But since you ran on school choice and they're calling it school choice, if you were to vote against this, you're a liar. And
they're about to burn you down.
Your political enemies will come tear you up. The governor will disown you after supporting you." I go, all the bad stuff that comes from that will go there. That's why so many of them, so many conservatives
had to
vote for it.
And it was a well-placed trap.
It was.
by the Speaker of the Texas House, who's a rhino.
Yes.
And it was politically, the gamesmanship was outstanding. And I've told many politicians this. I enjoy the gamesmanship of politics.
Right.
Now, I know which way I want it to go. I lean conservative. So I often tell somebody, I'm like, "Oh, somebody really conservative," and some of my friends are like, "More conservative than you?" I'm like, I look at myself as a libertarian, on most things. I'm just not for free crack and all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah. They're like, "How conservative are they?" I'm like, yeah, maybe.
I'm more of a constitutional Republican, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that maybe go. Okay, so here's this.
All right.
Eric Doherty, breaking bombshell. Minnesota auditor report just dropped, and it confirms Tim Walz, Department of Human Services, fabricated the records and did not verify grant receipts tied to covering their and tried to cover their tracks, enabling massive fraud. It just got 10,000 times worse, and this came out like a couple hours before, because it says Tim Walz must resign. It came out right before he resigned, and so then
he didn't resign. He just said he's not running.
Oh, that's right. He stayed in power.
That's right.
Yeah, he just dropped out
11 more months. He's going to ride him like he's never been rode.
Oh, yeah. If you've seen the pictures, he ain't kidding.
Yeah.
It says, and then Eric Doherty goes on to say, perhaps the most explosive revelation is that managers within the DHS tried to cover their tracks by backdating and creating new documents.
Listen,
it's a systematic problem.
Wasn't President Trump indicted and went to trial in New York over fraudulent records, which weren't fraudulent to begin with?
And we're out now. This is what I did.
Yeah.
This is what's allowed.
Yeah. Except, what they did was they took something that was legal and tried to make it illegal. What you have here in Minnesota is pure out and out illegal. Yet you don't see federal indictments coming down on Walz yet.
Yeah. Well, here, let me. You're an engineer, right?
Used to be.
Okay. But I mean, technically, right?
Yeah.
For NASA at one point of your life.
Yes.
And nuclear stuff other than that.
Nuclear weapons, yeah.
Nuclear weapons. So, a nuclear engineer, we could call you.
I've done my share of nuclear regulatory analyses.
Okay.
And such, yeah.
And then worked for NASA.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. Why are all the liberals so much smarter than us? Because they certainly think they are. Because here you are, and you're just a regular guy, right? But you're intelligent. I don't know. A lot of people watching this think I'm an idiot. Most people don't think they're idiots, but I'm not of low intelligence.
Right.
I'm the smartest guy in the room, especially this room right now. But
I don't know. You might be surprised.
Yeah. But every liberal just assumes because they're on the left, they're immediately smarter than you, and that's why some of this stuff happens. Oh, we can just get away with this because they're not smart enough to see it. Like I don't think that every liberal is an idiot.
Well,
I don't think they're all geniuses like they do.
Here's the deal. One thing is, a lot of them take what they consider. They think they're smarter because they feel like they have the moral high ground. Coming from a party or a movement that doesn't have any morals. There's no morality connected to anything on there.
Right.
But they think they have the moral high ground. They're compassionate. They love their neighbor, except they don't.
Yeah.
What they have is power that comes out of the barrel of a gun.
Yeah.
Whether it's figurative or literal.
Yeah.
Either way, they still have the force of government, the power of government. That's what they strive for. And they want to run your life. They don't believe. You just heard from Mandami himself in New York City. The time for individual, rugged individuals is over.
Collectivism.
Collectivism is where you got to be. Hell no.
Look at Cuba.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look at the Soviet Union.
Look at Venezuela.
What was it? What was the guy who was it? Gorbachev? No, Gorbachev was our guy. What was the guy who?
Gorbachev wasn't our guy.
No, Gorbachev wasn't our guy. But what was the guy who came over that ran Russia when HW was in office?
Andropov?
I don't know, but anyway, he takes him to a supermarket in Florida, and he's like, "We can't let these pictures get back to the Soviet Union because they'll revolt."
I've been to Moscow when I was with NASA, and I've gone to the. Typically, when I go there, you eat out a little bit, but I like to get my own food and make my own food in the hotel room or something. And I went to the grocery store, and it's like there's nothing on the shelves. I mean, and the stuff that they had, I didn't want to eat.
Yeah.
I went out to a restaurant or two, and it's like you get a bowl of thin cabbage soup with a hunk of fatty meat in it.
Right.
And I'm like, this ain't food. And I ended up going to McDonald's in Moscow to get dinner, because they can't feed themselves.
And that's what's coming for New York. That's what Cuba already has. That's what happened to Venezuela. Venezuela voted themselves into the situation. Let's don't forget this.
You know what? Because they promised free health care to everybody.
Exactly.
That's how Chavez won the poor people over. You're too poor. You can't get your medicine. You can't see doctors. I'll give it all to you.
Same tricks.
And he invited the Cubans over, and they provided him medical stuff. And he got his thugs in power, motorcycle gangs, militias, and the army.
And then they seized American property, which was because everybody's like, this is about the oil. You damn right it is. Because it was ours anyway. It's our infrastructure. We're the ones that discovered it. We made you rich. Just like Saudi Arabia. Why is Saudi Arabia? My grandpa was on the drag line in Saudi Arabia. I know why they're rich, because Americans went over there and developed it.
That's right. I've been over Aramco. I spent 5 years in Saudi Arabia. I know exactly what you're talking about. In fact, Venezuela, they ate the animals in the zoos.
Right.
I mean, that's how bad it was. And it's insane. In fact, right now the government's saying, I don't know what the government is there right now.
Well, they swore in the vice president, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But you still got the guy who's in charge of basically the militias and
he's still the same guy.
Yeah, and he's a bad guy. But he's like Che Guevara.
Once again, I'm not for necessarily, as long as they'll play within the rules we give them.
Even that can't go.
No, I'm not for. What I'm saying is, I'm not for a 20-year occupation.
Well, we're not occupying right now.
We're not even in there.
No,
I mean,
and it's like
technically,
it's like I imagine Trump and Rubio said, FAFO. You do this,
and we're to
else.
the FO part.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tanker with Venezuelan oil that was on the sanctions list.
Yeah.
And the Russians flagged it like a few days ago. Said, "Oh, it's our ship. You can't touch it." We went and got it today also.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's up to 3 now.
Yeah. It's like, no, what we say, we mean what we say, and we say what we mean.
Man, what a big deal. And, Glenn Beck's been calling for that for years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the deal, too. Like, well, who gave Donald Trump permission to do that? How did he get this? How did he get that? We don't need it.
Yeah, they already gave it to him. Go look at the laws on the books, guys. Your immigration laws, your foreign policy, presidential authority. It's all there. It's all written down. You just let people on your TV sets or on your phone tell you something different.
That's exactly right.
Sorry, I told you I was coming in hot today.
No, I'm good with it. This is from Clandestine on X.com. This was yesterday. They said the chances of Delta Force showing up in Tim Walz's bedroom just skyrocketed. It says Trump is pretty brazenly saying that Walz and Ilhan Omar were caught red-handed in the Somali fraud. Trump says that 2,000 DHS agents are headed there, and that's what we're seeing today,
Yeah.
and that's what caused this shooting was them, the Democrats. Because look, don't go. Here's the thing, and even under Biden, we allowed our federal forces and our local forces to be pushed around.
Oh, yeah.
We allowed the crazies to take over the asylum, where now it's like, defend yourself, be kind, and there's a difference in being kind and being nice. Move out of the way. That's kinder than killing them. Now, being nice is, oh, please, honey bumpkins, that's not what we're playing.
No.
That's not the way it goes.
No, because you've got to. Not only do you have to stop the current situation, you have to fix what was broken and wrong before.
Yeah.
And having 20 to 30 million illegals in our country is a wrong thing. God knows how many foreign terrorists we have in here, and just
Well, according to Doc Pete Chambers, it's high.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been on the border myself.
I know you
times.
have, yeah.
I've been in the bush in 107-degree weather. I've been there in freezing temperatures.
Yeah.
I've seen the foreign money, the Urdu, the English dictionaries.
Mm-hmm.
All the debris that people sneaking across our border would leave on the ranch lands that they're sneaking across.
Yeah.
I've also been in the facilities, the border patrol facilities, taking care of these people under Biden.
Right.
And I'm telling you,
What? Biden had them in cages?
Hell no, those were the Obama cages.
Yeah, that's right.
The facility I was in was the one that had the Obama cages in it. It was completely redone, $30 million renovation.
Oh, of course, you
no
gotta take
cages.
care of them.
They had 5 big containment areas, and they treated these people.
And people were getting raped in there because
No,
No?
nobody got raped.
Okay.
I mean, they would have transsexuals come in and they would put them in a separate holding. In fact, one time I was talking to one of the border guys. I go, "Is that a husband and wife over there?" And he goes, "Oh no,
No, that is not what's happening.
that's not what's happening." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But they would keep the women separate from the guys, and they had a system. It's like you had A, B, and C blocks, and the D block is where they would. That was the people being released into America,
Right.
And they would give them phones and everything. They said, but you can't have these people in that block go into the other blocks, because these guys, they would realize they're not getting cell phones, so they're on the way to being
They're going
deported,
home.
and that would cause a problem.
Ah.
So it. But you know what? Our border patrol, they were courteous. They treated everybody with respect, no matter what.
Right.
Now if you started being a problem, you got a problem.
You got what you asked for?
Yeah. But you know what? It was up and up, straight up, man. Those people were treated well for the 3 or 4 days they were there. Typically, the only time I ever saw anybody in that facility longer than 3 days was the Haitians, and they had a whole bunch of them come in, and they didn't know what to do with them.
Right.
So they kept them for a couple of weeks. And
The crazy thing about Haiti, Port-au-Prince, the size of Chicago, and has no sewer system.
right.
So when we're talking about, it's hard. Even Maduro, what's the quotes coming out about him seeing the facility and hearing the judge? He's like, I have rights.
Exactly.
I get this afforded to me. Like he expected us to take him into a tribunal, string him up, and kill him.
Yeah. He had no idea of how the legal proceedings in America go,
No.
because they don't happen in Venezuela.
Right.
They used to.
Yeah.
But-
I know someone who, and I'll tell you off air, who had business dealings in Venezuela back in the 90s. And a couple of different, they said they were over there a few times. 2 times they were kidnapped.
Oh, really?
And they worked for I'll just tell you later. They worked for a big company though.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, how was that? They're like, you come down the escalator, the limo driver's waiting there and it's got your name on the card, and they've got a limo parked outside, and you get in because you're expecting to be picked up. And they're
Right.
like, and he goes, And maybe it was the company that you really hired. Like, you don't know, but they know who you work for.
Right.
And so, like, I'm like, well, how was it? Like, actually, he goes, at that time, the world wasn't so crazy. He's like, they just put you in the limo. They take you to the nicest hotel in town, put you in the best room.
Yep.
And this person was an executive level of this company. They put you in the best room. I'm like, how long? He's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, what'd you do? I was eating steak, watching TV, kind of. I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody, but just, it's like, it wasn't.
Because it was a transaction.
Yeah,
They're going to pay the money. So you just wait, you treat them nice. You get money so you can keep doing it.
Right.
If you were killing them or treating them badly, somebody would do something about it.
Well, Ross Perot, who changed all that when that happened with his boys.
Exactly. Yeah. Ross got him out.
But it was crazy to think that. And here, after the first time, I'm like, why'd you go back again? I was like, this is my job.
Oh yeah. Well, at one time Venezuela was like the jewel of South America.
Right.
It was prosperous. It had a great middle class. It had
more F-150s than anywhere else.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was not a bad country for South America.
Right.
Until Chavez. And when all that stuff happened. Now, was there problems in Venezuela with the poor and all that stuff? Yeah,
Yes.
there were. Because ultimately they weren't America.
Right.
They didn't have the checks and balances that we have. Our checks and balances are being thrown off overboard.
Yes.
The left only uses them when it benefits them.
Every time.
And then when it doesn't, they throw them out the window.
Every time.
They don't like the Supreme Court now because it's been siding with Trump on a lot of these issues. They want to, if they get back in power, they want to pack the court. There is no reason I would ever vote for a Democrat right now.
No.
Because
But you say right now, you're not saying ever, and that's okay.
Well, yeah, but their superpower right now is no matter how the most moderate one and votes the same as the most radical one.
Right.
There is no difference, and I don't care, even here, we're going to have a Democrat at our state house race, which is not usual for our
not this part of the world.
But he's going to come in and he's going to go, oh, I'm a good guy. I'm a moderate. I'm just like you. And,
I'm going to put a Coke machine in
Yeah.
everybody's living room.
yeah, but he's going to be voting with all those Gene Wu and all those others in the state house that are radicals. Yolanda Jones and
Democrats always ride for the brand.
that's right, they do. So,
That's who we're the big tent party right now.
right. Well,
And so we take different views and we'll have inter party squabbles. If you don't agree with the Democrats, they take your funding and they throw you out.
right now, we just had our little thing with censure and things. Republican on Republican crime, as they say.
Oh,
but
stupid.
but you know what? That's how we purge our party. That's how we deal with it.
And that's why you need strong county leadership.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and at the precinct level too.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're going to have our state convention. June 6th through 8th, I think.
Right.
Down in Houston. That's where the Republican Party, the largest collection of Republicans in the world, will get together, and we'll decide what our priorities are. We'll decide what's in our platform. And we'll be out there and we'll be cheering on our champions. And I guarantee you, we'll be booing the people who aren't our champions.
The common narrative is that Republicans don't like black people. However, in Texas, you got many examples of how we do, but in Texas, a mere 2 years after the Declaration of Independence, not the Declaration of Independence, what freed the slaves?
The Emancipation Proclamation.
Emancipation Proclamation was signed. 101 black men in Galveston
Yes.
started the Texas Republican Party, or were part of starting their Texas Republican
In
Party.
Houston.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was Galveston. Okay. In
No,
Houston.
well, they went to Houston and did it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was, over 100 black guys. I think there's like maybe 20 white guys.
Yeah.
And-
Majority black.
yeah. And they went
Started
there and
the
they
Republican Party.
Yeah, because back then, most white guys were Democrats.
Yeah.
But they said, we got to do something different. And that is history that's not taught in our schools.
Oh, well, no, Dale, the party switched.
Yeah. No, that's what they say.
Nothing switched.
No.
Republicans are the reason, and I'm sorry to even take this rabbit hole, but Republicans are the reason the Civil Rights even passed.
That's right.
The Civil Rights Act passed. Oh, well, it switched, and then the Civil Rights Act passed. No. Republicans are the reason the Civil Rights Acts were passed. Johnson didn't want it.
No, he didn't. But when he saw that he couldn't stop it,
Yes.
he said, "Okay, we're going to flip it. We're going to do this, and we will never lose another election
For 100 years or something like that.
Yeah,
And we're
you know what?
80 years in.
He was kind of right about that in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Because they made civil rights a Democrat thing. Well, it wasn't. What happened?
The Democrats hated the Jews. They hated the blacks. They hated everybody.
Yeah, we had a vibrant African American
Family, business community,
Middle class.
Yeah, middle class.
and we were integrated, and we were living the American dream, baby.
Yeah.
Until the civil rights, when the Democrats got their
When they
teeth into
weaponized it.
They weaponized it. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it was, you have a grievance, so we got to give you this, and we got to help you there, and we're going to make you dependent on that, on government.
We're going to give you just enough to never be able to achieve the American dream, but to not want to walk away from what we're giving you.
That's right.
And all you have to do is vote for us.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're trying in Iran right now.
Yeah.
I mean those people, their economy has collapsed. And the government.
And they're taking to the streets, which
Yeah.
is they're talking about the Ayatollah, thinking about leaving.
Yeah, well, that's a rumor, but I've heard that before.
Yeah.
But the government is giving them like $7 a month. Is it a month or a week? A month, I think.
Revenue.
To free money, which is
Which
like,
$7 over there, big deal.
is like $1 million in the reals.
Yeah.
Because their economy's so tanked. But it costs them $200 to live a month. So $7 is not that much money.
Right.
But what they're trying to do is give them just enough to survive on, to where they don't lose their position's power, because they saw what happened to the last crew that got thrown out by the people.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to go to X. We're just going to do some live articles here. MAGA Storm on X.com. The White House just dropped names, and it's explosive. Officials say over $100 million was funneled into Antifa protest and political violence across America. What? Who would have thought, Dale? It says, yes, taxpayers funded their own chaos. We uncovered a massive NGO funding network, which we knew. This is what's the deal. They list all these names: Reid Hoffman, George Soros, Open Society, Tides Foundation. Everybody you think that would be on this list is on it. But this is what's happening in Minnesota. This is what's happening through the UN. I am for getting out of the UN 100%.
Oh, I've been that way since day one.
Right.
I've never liked the UN. But I want to go back to the NGOs. I mean, non-governmental organizations. That's what they're supposed to be called. They're supposed to be nonprofit and do good things, right?
Right.
You know what? When you take the first dollar, the first dime of taxpayer money, you are no longer a non-governmental entity. You are part of the government. I hate NGOs. I do not like them. I think that they should be illegal.
Yeah.
I do not think we should have any funding out there for that. The government should take care of government business. Let charity, let the people deal with whatever needs that need to be done with other folks, but not spend our taxpayer dollars on that.
Right.
That's why I'm against taxpayer-funded lobbying.
That's exactly right. So while you're talking about that, I'm against taxpayer funded and I'm against NGOs. This article came up from Nick Sorter about this Minnesota shooting this morning, and that's what I was looking for.
All right.
Oh, here it is. Boom. Okay, so
Boom.
that was the car making contact. New angle from the ICE-involved shooting in Minneapolis shows the woman clearly hitting the agent with her car before he fires at her.
Okay. All right. See, and I heard the chief of police at a news conference on my driving in here say, I saw the video and she was driving away and they just shot her.
Y'all, and like a country boy will do, I was leaned up on my tailgate eating lunch, because I'm never too country and I mean, we're in a shopping center, but I had my tailgate down eating lunch, and Dale comes whipping in, and I'm like,
up on the tailgate.
He talks up on the tailgate, strapped, and I'm like, oh man, we got a big thing going today, and I'd been busy all day, so I hadn't seen this, and it's just wild. But yeah, this video clearly shows her hitting the officer.
Yeah, I mean, if the media and the local politicians' first reaction is that our government is killing citizens, That's the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
That's not somebody who
That's
believes in America. They are looking for the worst
every
out of our
time.
government. Every time.
Because that's what they would do.
That's right. And did they, they go, oh, the feds, they can't jump and say it's domestic terrorism right from the get-go. Well, look what the hell you did.
Yeah. How dare they? So then this from Representative Nancy Mace. Breaking, we just moved to subpoena Representative Ilhan Omar and her brother/husband's immigration records in the Oversight Committee. Federal marriage fraud and knowingly entering a marriage to evade immigration laws is a serious felony, punishable by prison time, and should have her thrown out of the Congress and deported.
Yes, she should be denaturalized. Her citizenship should be stripped from her because she came in under false pretenses. That hateful woman needs to go.
Right.
After she serves her time.
And then here's what Tom Emmer said from Elon Musk. This was out. He put this out 2 or 3 hours ago. Majority Whip Tom Emmer, do you have any doubt Tim Walz knew about the fraud as it was occurring? Minnesota state representatives, none whatsoever. He absolutely knew it was occurring.
Absolutely. I mean, look, the state audits these people, and there's no children. How do you audit a daycare and you show up supposedly unannounced?
Yeah.
And there's no kids.
I mean, wow.
It's like, they had to know. And not just from the top all the way down to the bottom. Minnesota is run by corrupt government at the local level, at the state level.
And I think a lot of places are. Here's another video of this. So it's out now that this woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good, because I would say, man, I'm out over my skis on this one. Yeah, but I believe our guys, our law enforcement out there doing their job. I don't think that they're going to draw down and just shoot people
because they have families to go to.
That's right. They're Americans.
Yeah.
The reason they took the oath to the Constitution is because they believe in it. And they're doing their jobs.
Yeah.
These other asshats out there. You might want to beat me on that one too, but they're out there. They're the ones causing the chaos. They're the ones. That's why we need more people engaged in our government, in our politics, in our communities that aren't crazy like that. Republicans need to have the same passion that the left does and go out there and defend what we believe in, what our values are, what our principles are.
We need those kind of people running our counties.
Yeah, like county chairs and precinct chairs.
Yeah, and precinct chairs.
But don't forget your county commissioners and all those others.
That's exactly. Well, it's just amazing to me. Look, we've all lived life.
Yeah.
And we all remember, we've all been in situations, either people at work or in your social circles or whatever, where you say something, or I know I have. I'm the outspoken one. Dale, you're the outspoken one.
I'm usually quiet.
Yeah, right. But you say, oh, man, it should be X, Y, Z, and I can't believe so-and-so isn't doing it. But you say that in front of everybody to their faces. You're not saying behind your back. You're not being rude. You're just being exact.
Right.
And so, or maybe not exact, but just...
I may say it in a manner that's more palatable. But
yeah, maybe. But then anytime you do something like that, after whatever venue you're in, meeting... whatever it is, there's going to be a few people come like, hey, man, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, and look, and if you're that person, that's okay, because I'll speak for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling everybody to speak up, but there's always that. But then there's a couple of those ones that'll say that, and then they'll go to the other person like, I can't believe you said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with Democrats. And that's what we're dealing with some of these Republicans. Oh, yeah, we believe that. Then they run to the party. They run to the establishment and go, well, this guy's crazy. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to make up whatever. Or, and I'm not going to say any names, but guy that I called you about makes a post, trying to call out people. And like, you're not even from around here.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
That you're right. The outspoken ones, our form of government, the way we govern ourselves, is a representative form.
Yes.
We can speak for people who don't have the gifts to get out there and say things in public. Some people can't speak in public. Other people, they get tongue-tied, or they just not sure, and they look to other folks to speak for them, and that's okay. Like you said, we're here to do that.
Yeah.
But it's the people who try to play both sides.
That's right.
That's what I can't stand.
That's frustrating.
You know, I'm for having an opinion. I'm for speaking it. I'm for being passionate about it. Sometimes I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong, I'm usually pretty wrong. But you know what? I'll own up to it.
Yeah.
And just press on. You know, it's like, I guess I should have did a little bit more homework.
Right.
I should have figured, I shouldn't have jumped too quickly. I was afraid I was jumping too quickly on this story because if the chief of police and the mayor were right, I'd be looking like an idiot.
But you weren't here.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
You know,
we got
because
video.
I can't believe that would happen the way they were portraying.
But it's what always happens these days. Republicans are always the bad guys.
Right.
I mean, as far as the media is concerned,
because we're all cultists to Donald Trump.
well, I mean, you can even see about this political forum that we've got coming up on the 21st.
Right.
You can even see some of the comments on it online. We're like, I can't believe you guys would support this person. Somebody believes that. Like, we don't.
Yeah, they're not supporting anybody. They're saying, come listen for yourself.
If you're in the election, come make your voice heard.
Yeah, you know, if you're in a contested primary,
Yeah.
come out there and say what you believe. You know, answer a couple questions. You know, they'll have a voter guide out there for people. Make up your own mind.
Yeah.
But do a little work. You know.
And if you want to see my answers to that voter guide, you can look at Zach Ratliff for Bowie County GOP, Bowie County Republican Bowie County Party Precinct 11A website. Just look up Zach Ratliff on Facebook.
I will be posting mine on my website also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like they're going to be public anyway. You know, let people know.
Yeah, no need to keep it secret. What
That's
I
right.
believe.
No.
Of course. I mean, if you want to know, just listen 4 or 5 days a week, and I got you.
Yeah, I hear. That's why I say, listen to my show. Let's Austin More Texas.
Let's Austin More Texas.
If you want to know what Dale Huls thinks about things,
Yeah.
that's
exactly right.
I don't hide it. I don't.
Hey, I'm going to try to start tagging this show to that show on days that I publish. So that's what we're going to try to do today while you're here.
Okay.
So we'll see if we can make that work.
And like you said, when you send me a copy, I put it up on my Facebook.
Absolutely.
You know, just because there may be people who are in my sphere that aren't in yours.
Right, I'm sure.
And they need to hear what you're saying, not just when I'm speaking.
Right.
You know, which is a good way for my people to start listening to you.
Yeah.
But they figure out who you are and where you are, and they can go listen to them yourself on YouTube or Spotify or any other platform you're on.
So absolutely. Well, okay, Dale. Let's wrap it up with local. Our primary is the 3rd of March.
Yes.
So we're kind of down to it's almost time to start cutting some hay.
Yeah, we're what, about 6 weeks away from early voting.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a little less than that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's time, guys. You know, you got to start paying attention and figuring out what you want to do. Where do you want to go? Most people don't even know what a precinct chair or a county chair does. Hell, most people don't even know what a state rep does.
Well, that's exactly. Well, and I was talking to them yesterday when they were in here, and
That's Doc Chambers.
Doc Chambers and Lydia. And the thing is, now us as informed voters, because if you're listening to this show, I pulled it up on Grok just to ask about the show, and it's like, it's a niche thing for conservatives and Christians. Which, if that's niche to be conservative and Christian, count me in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, but I was like, the deal is now those of us that are in the know, or at least to educate ourselves, we've got to be talking to everyone else. Because listen, I catch heat every time I say this. The most dangerous voter in America is the liberal white woman.
Yeah.
Because they vote on feelings and emotions and all the things. I care about little Johnny and little Sally too, but we don't need to go broke doing whatever we're doing.
But you know who else I put in that class of dangerous voter? That's the uninformed voter.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, well,
And that's why I catch heat.
But it's it don't take much. You just go out and get a source that you can listen to both sides.
Or you can go to Citizens Free Press. They just carry all the major news articles.
Yeah, I drive my wife Mary crazy.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, many fronts. But usually when we're driving, I'm flipping the radio a lot because
Yeah.
I'll listen to a little Fox News. I'll flip it over to CNN. I'll flip it over to MSNBC.
Yeah.
Anytime a commercial comes on, I'm flipping the dial.
Mary just wants to be in her garden.
She wants to be at home. She don't want to listen. She definitely don't want to listen to the progressive crap.
Right.
And she goes, "Why do you listen to that?" And I go, "Because I need to know what they're saying."
That's right.
Because unless I know what they're saying, I can't judge them. I can't
Yeah.
figure out if they're right or if they're wrong or how they, where can we have common ground? Where are we totally opposed
Yeah.
to each other? If I don't know them, I can't deal with them.
Well, just like Rush Limbaugh used to say, Rush Limbaugh knew the liberals better than the liberals knew the liberals.
Exactly.
And that's what made him great.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he could articulate either point on any subject.
I hear that, and I try to emulate him as much as I
Oh,
can.
absolutely.
Just I'm a pale shadow of a reflection of something else.
I'm not even. But anyway, Dale Huls, Bowie County chairman of the Bowie County Republican Party. That's what you're running for,
yes.
candidate. That election the election day is March 3rd. I'm running for precinct 11A for Bowie County Republican Party. We'd appreciate y'all's support if you know anybody. And if you're not here, don't be like a Democrat and come vote, but we appreciate the effort, though.
Hear you there, bro.
All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Dale, thanks for being here.
No problem.
All right, I hope God blesses each and every one of you today.
Amen.